There are 26 teams competing for the $10 million X Prize. Most don't have the funding to be considered serious contenders, but that doesn't stop them from trying. Nightline's Dave Marish reports on one team reaching for the skies on a shoestring budget.
If the Burt Rutan Paul Allen team is the Goliath of the X Prize competition, meet a pair of Davids, Eric Meyer and Philip Storm, founders of Space Transport Corporation, underfunded but undaunted.
Basically the underdog. We spent less than 1% of what Rutan has spent on his project. These are the 7 engines that make up the rocket.
Phil and Eric rate their chances of winning the X Prize by the end of this year as slim.
It's very cramped quarters, obviously, but the chairs aren't installed.
But they believe their low-budget, low-risk approach may win the big real-world prize, becoming the Greyhound of space travel.
It's a 2-person space capsule, but it can accommodate 3 people to win the X Prize.
They believe their rocket, which would blast off direct from Earth, will win more customers than an air-launched competitor like Rutan.
The basic excitement of taking off right from the ground and, waving to your kids before you lift off is going to be an attraction. When you hit the button, you're on your way to space.
Meyer and Storm got their workshop at a discount from the town of Forks, in a depressed logging area 140 miles west of Seattle on Washington's Olympic Peninsula, just part of the help they've gotten from their adopted community.
I can remember going to Chamber of Commerce and hearing about the Space Dudes. And I thought, what the heck is the Space Dudes? And so finally, when I met the guys, I realized that they could be a very integral part of our community.
Just their whole project is exciting and in a different area that's not traditionally been seen with rural Washington, let alone rural America.
Forks realtor Don Grafstrom is an investor. He calls Phil and Eric
the Wright brothers of Forks. I see them go to work early in the morning, and you can go by there at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're still there working.
At the local high school, shop teacher Marty Dillon is a space transport volunteer. He's seen his students enthused about the local entry in the space race. Greg Micah owns a local machine shop.
I realized that they have a dream, and they are on a limited budget, and to turn that dream into reality requires some expensive machine parts.
3, 2... The abrupt failure of their first launch, August 8th, left Phil and Eric gasping for fresh parts and fresh money. They were able to sell some of the wreckage to collectors on eBay, while TV coverage of their aborted test actually attracted several small investments. For example, not Paul Allen's millions, but Forks garbage man Tim Warren's enthusiastic support.
That's what I told Eric when I first got in. I said, well, make me feel like I'm part of it anyway. So that's why I invested with him.
Local logger Dale Montgomery wants to invest himself. He's volunteered to be Phil and Eric's rocket pilot.
Why not? I mean, people do all kinds of strange things. I figured this is an opportunity in my lifetime.
The Space Dudes have gotten so much from the local community. Money and moral support, hands-on labor, and even handmade parts for their rocket ship. And when it came to finding a launch point from which to blast off into space, they once again got a little help from their neighbors.
They came over to McCaw and asked if they could do that launching here since, it was a safe place to do it.
Ben Johnson, Jr. is the chairman of the Native American McCaw tribe. Why did he welcome the rocket project?
The educational part of it for children. And the money that we get from the launching will go to the playground area and kids back at the school.
Meanwhile, Eric Meyer and Phil Storm work feverishly against the X Prize deadline and a wider dream to place tourists, satellites, any package, really, into space.
A part of everyone has a little bit of adventure in them, and there's such a large amount of people that want to go up and see space and experience it themselves,
A rocket, a dream, and lots of elbow grease. Phil Storm, Eric Meyer, and all those folks in Forks hope they light up the sky. I'm Dave Marish for Nightline in Forks, Washington.